Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared, along with
Brian Held.
Brian Held. How the hell are you, buckaroo?
Man, I'm great. I want to give a big thanks to the folks over at Bad Wolf Bar and Grill out in Gretna. This weekend is Fenris Fest. They've been hanging out in a post-apocalyptic wasteland all weekend. And
otherwise known as the West Bank?
Oh, you're so silly.
I know.
But we had a really good time and a lot of great events. Jillian, who put that event on, she did a great job. But the most important part is that behind it all was a charity event to raise money for the Autism Society. And at last count, it was over $1,000. So that's great.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, no, you told me a little anecdote about the saga of booze that she was having. And as a former bar owner, I felt her pain, and I was very happy she got awesome resolution to that issue.
Oh, yeah. Tito Vodka came in and donated $300 to
That's
that.
pretty damn awesome.
It is.
All right, let's lay out the show real quick. As always, we'll start the show off with top nerd news, and then we'll talk to our boy Skungy with his pick of the week. And then we have a guest, Brian.
Yeah, our guest is New York Times bestselling author Naomi Novik. She has a new book coming out called Spinning Silver. It is on newsstands July 10th, and she's going to tell us all about it.
Awesome sauce. And then we'll close out the show like we always do with This Week in Geek History. But first... And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by the Viridian Tea Company. Find them on Etsy. And now, your top nerd news stories. Ant-Man. Oh, wait, no, that's not the right
I was wondering where you were going with that. Yeah, we got to talk about Ant-Man out of the gate. Estimated take home for domestic is $76 million this weekend. $161 million worldwide. What did you think, Dave?
I enjoyed it. I would go see it again and again.
It was better than Cats.
Exactly. No, I enjoyed it. It was fun. People have asked me here at the station, and I was like, look, it's a great popcorn movie. It was fun. You didn't really have to watch the Avengers or any of the other movies to understand what's going on. And you don't really have to even watch the first one. Because, I mean, you could have not watched the first one and jumped in on this movie and still kind of gotten the gist of everything that happened.
Yeah. And, well, one of the things that I was really worried about the whole time is, of course, we pay a lot of attention to what's happening out in the pop culture world, and I kept seeing so many articles and new trailers and stuff for Ant-Man, and I was really worried that they put out too much, that it would almost like, why go see it? There's so much stuff out here. Yet the big spoilers, the big reveals and stuff were all kept secure, and I enjoyed it, and holy geez. Okay, guys. This is the 20th MCU movie out.
If you ain't figured it out yet,
don't leave.
Go pee. Go pee. As soon as the movie's over, you can leave. Go home.
No.
Nothing to see here.
No, do not leave when the credits roll. I can't believe it. Yes, because holy geez, that mid-credit sequence, I was freaked out.
Yeah, and after that, you can definitely go run and go pee, because if you feel like you just want to see the very, very end credit scene, well, you can if you want.
It exists for the punctuation.
Yes.
But
up jump.
Right. So, no, seriously, I mean, there's a little bit of punctuation at the very, very end that is the only thing worth seeing. And it's a little bit of a troll, I would say.
Okay, now I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
You probably went to pee.
No, I didn't. I stayed through the whole goddamn thing.
All right, we'll talk about it after the show. Regardless, great movie. Hey, so you got the little tiny comic book in magnifying glass.
I did. I haven't yet read it because I'm old and my eyes don't work.
Right.
Well, the funny part was DJ was like, I'm like, here, young child, you read this. And he's like, I can't. I'm like, well, turn on the light. That might freaking help.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So, yeah, apparently opening day attendees to the movie got a little Ant-Man-sized comic book.
So is it only people who went opening day?
I guess. It's,
because
a
I know
promotional thing.
Well, yeah, because I went Thursday night at 9:00.
Okay. Yeah, I went Thursday at 7. Although I found it interesting too. They AMC had a little kiosk set up in the popcorn line.
Okay.
And they were selling Ant-Man T-shirts, and of course, my wife
you
was
went to
like,
the fancy Elmwood. See, I went to the Clearview, bruh.
Oh, okay.
Out in Metry.
Yeah, I went to the Elmwood, and yeah, so my wife was like, we have to have one of those. So yes, I got a shirt. Well, and she got an incredible shirt too. So it's all good.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
T-shirt update brought to you by Brian L.
jeez.
All right, what's next, man?
Sad news.
I know. This sucks.
Yeah, legendary Marvel artist and co-creator of Spider-Man, Steve Ditko, has passed away at the age of 90.
Yeah, look, it's cool, though, because, well, not cool that he died, but the stuff that he gave us is cool, though. Like Tom Holland, he was co-creator of Spider-Man. Even Tom Holland gave him a shout-out. He's like, look, man, you have changed so many lives, including mine, So, I think that's what anybody wants. Once you kick the bucket and you go 6 feet under, you want a little something of yours to be, left behind. Something in the good column, I'm still working on that column.
Well, and it also is sad, that he was known to be a recluse. He really didn't give interviews or anything, so we don't know what his thoughts are on the whole MCU. It would have been nice for posterity to have, gotten some of that information out of him.
Yeah, but hey, look, as a person who despises people, I'm down with Ditko.
Okay, all right.
But no, have you ever heard of the Creeper? That's like one of the other characters he created. Never heard of the Creeper.
No.
Mr. A, is that the
Mr.
first iteration of Mr. T?
I don't
Pity
know.
the fool that read the alphabet.
The Question, do you know that one?
Well, no.
I wonder if that's a DC character. I know there's a guy who's got a question mark on his face. But Doctor Strange, Hawk and Dove, I'm familiar with those.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, very talented individual, and he will be missed.
Yes. All right, moving on. Let's move on to something, I guess, a little more interesting or happy-ish.
So, analysts think that Comcast will make a counteroffer to Fox.
At this point, I just don't care anymore, honestly. At this point, I just don't care who owns it now.
Well,
I just don't.
No, I do.
Why?
Right?
Why? You tell me.
Because of the Marvel assets that Fox has needs to go back to Disney, right? It all needs to come home and be all one Marvel again. But what's interesting here is that Disney has the high bid right now, but Comcast has more liquid cash. They have, and so people are wondering because Comcast, in order to continue to remain relevant in the current industry as it stands, really sort of needs to make this bid. Now, I think that ultimately the House of the Mouse will beat them out. I don't think that Comcast will be able to, pull the thunder together to beat out Disney in the long run. But, it's...
Well, what you were saying about how you want to bring those products back to the House of the Mouse because you think they'll do a better job on it. Look, just because they've screwed it up 30 times now doesn't mean they're going to screw it up 31 times. If they're putting this much money in it, there's a roadmap for their dumbasses to follow. Obviously, DC hasn't figured it out yet. Justice League just came on HBO yesterday, so I watched it again. It was still kind of meh.
Right. Well, but in the larger MCU, they can't make any references to mutants as long as Fox holds the rights to all the X-Men stuff, right? So we want to see this come back. We want to see a unified MCU, and I believe it's the 27th of July is when the board is supposed to meet and formally accept. The Department of Justice, I believe it is. Who
Why the hell are they getting involved?
Not Justice. Who's the Commerce Department that agrees on these large
Ways and Means Committee or something? I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, the government has signed off that Disney and Fox can make the deal go through, right? There was
Okay.
that Warner Brothers AT&T deal that went through.
Just like so they don't have a monopoly.
Yeah,
one of those things.
So the green light's on it for Disney to make the buy.
Well, look, if Comcast gets it, I'm not concerned about them being able to make better movies because you know what? They can just have this new AI make a script for them. It can decide whether or not their movie's good enough. It can be like, hey, put in this new script for X-Men or the new Fant Force Stick and put it in there and let the AI decide if you should make it or not.
So what you're referring to is that artificial intelligence could one day determine which films get made out there, right?
I think we've already agreed that Hollywood is basically artificial intelligence because there ain't no intelligence over there.
But it's a whole different kettle of fish here that we're dealing with.
Okay.
So, what AI does in a nutshell is that they take a large data set. Humans teach a machine how to look at a problem, and then once they get sort of this subset, then they let the machine run wild and it makes decisions on its own.
It's been happening for a while where they put in like a bunch of certain types of scripts or data or just like here, like do you ever see Ars Technica? Do you know who Thomas Middleditch is?
It sounds familiar, yeah.
He's the Verizon guy. He's the nerdy guy. He's on something else. But here, they put in a whole bunch of sci-fi, like really crappy B-movie scripts, and this is what the AI pumped out.
I need to leave, and I'm not free of the world.
Yes, perhaps I should take it from here. I'm not going to do something.
It's not a dream. But I've got a time to stay there.
Well, I still think you could be back on the table.
It's just get random jumbled friggin' words. It's just randomness.
So, and that's very silly. But we're not asking the AI in this instance to create a movie script.
Oh, we're not? It's not going to be the creative genius of Hollywood?
No. So this script book is what the app is, and it's based out of
Antwerp, Belgium.
Yes, thank you. And they have a database of over 6,500 existing scripts that the machine has gone through. And what they did was they took some existing data, right? They took the scripts for 62 movies from Sony, I guess, last year. Mm-hmm. And
determined like 22 of them should not have been made.
Right. 22 out of the 32 that failed financially, it determined shouldn't have been made. So they could have saved that money if they would have used this application.
What they're also trying to pimp is the fact that it could it could save you money from spending it on focus groups and all these other things. Script readers, basically, they take a bit of the human element out where you're just, sending it to people, go, hey, tell me what you think, write it on here and send us the information back.
Right.
But it can collate all this data because it's not. They've been doing this forever, so it's not really like it's really that hard to put all this information into the computer and be like, all right, crank me out something that I need.
Well, and it's interesting, too, that it also predicts the MPAA rating. It does an analysis of the characters. It will detect who the protagonists and antagonists are.
It even does the what's the test to decide whether it's sexist or not?
Is it the Bechdel test?
Where two women speak and they're not talking about a dude.
Yeah, I think that's
whatever
the
that
Bechdel
test is.
Yeah.
So, it can do all those things. I mean, but I guess the weird part is it says that it can differentiate between artsy films and, like action films. If a computer can do that, then I don't know. What are we doing here then? Or why are we here?
Why are we here?
Yeah.
I
welcome our new robotic overlords.
Well, they haven't said that they're going to use AI to replace radio talk show hosts yet.
What are you talking about? God. All right. What else we got? We got to get to a break.
We do. So interesting stuff happening over on Reddit, or particularly.
Yes, there is. I love Reddit.
The subreddit of Thanos wasn't wrong. Right? Have you been following that, Dave?
I have been. Look, what cracks me up is that they've basically, started a petition to ban half of themselves.
Right.
They're just like, look, there's too many of us. Snap your fingers and we got to go.
And so what's crazy is there's a whole bunch of things. It's Thanos did nothing wrong is the subreddit. And they've been, they're trying to make sure that Jeremy Renner is completely banned from the summit. Yeah.
He's got a bow and an arrow. What are you doing there?
Well, just because he wasn't in the movie, right? And
but he also sucks.
Well, no, he doesn't. And
I like Jeremy Renner, but Hawkeye is kind of useless.
They tried to reach out to the Russo brothers to get Josh Brolin to recreate the snap, and they got it.
And he did it.
Yeah, they did it. It's been blowing up all over Twitter, and so that's going to happen tomorrow. The admins have put the code in place to ban half the users of Thanos Did Nothing Wrong subreddit.
It makes me so happy. You never saw that Saturday Night Live skit where it's Hawkeye and they're redoing the Battle of New York, and he's like, hey, guys, I'm out of arrows, so I'll just be over here. They're like, well, how many did you bring? Like, 8? So you killed 8 people? Yeah, well, we'll get another. I don't have any more arrows.
Oh, jeez.
Hawkeye is useless. Useless, I tell you.
No, he's got some kung fu he can lean back on.
Take us to break.
All right, well, guys, when we get back, we're going to talk to our boy Skungy and find out his pick of the week. Stay tuned. You're listening to... Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Comes the Spider-Man.
D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe is open at 8228 Oak Street, just 2 blocks off of Carrollton. D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe has your RPGs and TCGs and a wall full of board games to rent both in-store and to take home. It's not just a game shop. As the name D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe says, it's also a cafe serving real food at great prices. Po' boys, salads, wraps, soups, pastries, and more. So head out to 8228 Oak Street and have some fun. And when it's all over, they'll clean up after you and all your nasty friends.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Bell Chase Highway today.
Mata Hari, Agent H21, is a spy fiction short story anthology about the famous dancer, seductress, and spy from World War I. Mata Hari, Agent H21, published by Pro Se Productions, has 7 rip-roaring adventure tales about the world-famous super spy that features her battling her enemies by using any weapons at her disposal. Mata Hari, Agent H21 is available for purchase in ebook and paperback formats on Amazon.com.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktieTans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
This is Kate Mulgrew for The Week in Geek.
Just kidding. It's Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, the Major from Ghost in the Shell. Listen, or the Tachicomas are going to get you.
Welcome back. This is The Week in Geek. I'm D Squared with
Brian Held.
Now,
So,
what? What? You have an update? Breaking news. No.
well, last segment we were talking about the concern that we would be replaced by artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And Joe Parton just messaged me and said that we don't have to worry about being replaced by artificial ignorance because it doesn't exist.
But up, Chubb. He's here all weeks, folks. Try the veal.
All right.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
Skungy's Pick of the Week is brought to you by GameStop and ThinkGeek.com.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
He might be an idiot savant.
Skungy, what's shaking bacon?
Like you, Dave, I welcome and adore our robot overlords. And anything that they need from me, I got you.
I got a case of WD-40 at the house. Come on.
Come on, Doc.
All right, what are we talking about today, dude?
Well, we're going into the vault, and we're going to talk about game Destroy All Humans 1 and 2.
Wow, you're really playing this robotic overlords to the hilt, huh?
Yes, I am. I'm prepared, man, all right?
So is it robots or aliens?
It's aliens.
Oh, okay.
So
cover all our bases.
There you go.
Yeah, let's just make sure everything's square. Destroy All Humans was a game that came out on the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox, and you're playing this character named Crypto. Now, the first game in the series is set in the 1950s, and it's got that campy 50s sci-fi vibe to it.
Oh, I remember that now, yeah.
Yeah, it's got like the eerie music, and you're going down and you start by going on a farm and you start killing cows and the farmers come out and trying to figure out what's going on in cows, so you kill the farmers. And it's the really, lighthearted
like Space Invaders.
Basically, yeah, it's Space Invaders except a little bit more violent.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
You have like a bunch of weapons, like you have a disintegration ray. You want to extract people's brains so you can get the DNA so you can upgrade your weapons and your flying saucer. There's and you do that by using a probe.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a weapon called the probe that you use to extract DNA. So it's a lot of fun, and there's not a lot to the game. It's not, groundbreaking or anything, but it's fun. And which really makes it charming is the story and all the writing. So it's like set in the 1950s, during the whole McCarthy era. And like when you're running around the town and whatnot, somebody will see, and instead of going, oh my God, there's an alien, they'll go, oh, look, it's a communist.
Oh, nice.
So it plays in with, all the fears that had with the 1950s. It's got some great voice acting, including the gentleman who was the voice of Invader Zim.
Who is that?
Is part of it. It's a lot of fun. The second game goes a little bit further. I'm not going to spoil it with the story necessarily, but I will say that one's set in the 1960s, and it says "Make war, not love."
Nice. Okay.
So it's got that whole like. Almost, it came out around the time that the Austin Power movies were hot, so it kind of, rides on those coattails. So Crypto's going, and this time you're going all over the place, like all over the world, different settings, and it just improves on everything that they did with the first one. The first one had some technical difficulties. We'll be honest. The gameplay was fun and the story was fun, but there was a lot of, hindrance to it, a lot of hiccups, but they improved it on the second one. They got the gameplay is a lot better, weapon selection, leveling up your character. Everything about it just improves over the second one, as it should whenever you have a game in the series. You always should improve over the second one. And once again, you got that great humor with these games.
No, that makes a whole lot of games out there survive the test of time when they're really funny. You want to go back, you want to relive those funny moments. Now, I might have missed it when you said earlier. Is it a side scroller? Is it top down? Is it first person?
It's a third person open world, actually. So it came out around the time that Grand Theft Auto 3 was out and some of these other games around the time where open world was still a new thing. It wasn't, like every other game that comes out on a Tuesday now is an open world game. It was kind of unheard of at the time. So it was unique in that where you can get in your ship and go fly just about everywhere when you're doing side missions, and it was cool for that. And the second one does the same thing. So yeah, it's that third person action shooter.
All right, that's cool. Now, you mentioned PS2 original Xbox. Is it been updated?
It is right now. Actually, you can get the first and the second one on the PlayStation 4 right now. And that's one cool thing that the PlayStation 4 has been doing lately. They make a lot of PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games. They're starting to make more and more of those available on their store. So you can get a lot of these classic games that, the PlayStation 2 came out. It's been 18 years now since that system came out. So there are a lot of these games, they're classics. People never played them. They weren't alive when these games come out, and people want to play them. So they're making them more available.
What, Dave?
It's just some of them weren't alive. It's just, it's true. It's just, I'm making me feel old.
There's.
I want to play the original Diablo again from PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That one, I know you can download that one on the Dirty PC.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's available on the PlayStation 4 yet. But a lot of these games are available. Like I said, like Destroy All Humans, you can get 1 and 2, and they're only $10 a piece.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that price point.
Right.
Well, and a lot of these older games, most of them aren't above $15. Some of them might be a little bit higher than that, just depending on the game itself. But like, you can go back and get like all the Grand Theft Autos on the PlayStation 4. You can get, like I said, the Destroy All Humans. They've got tons and tons of games that are available. So if you have a PlayStation 4, it's really worth checking out going in the store. It's not something that a lot of people do a lot of times because they don't really think about it. But you go searching through the store, you can find some classic gems for really, pennies on the dollar, and much cheaper than when you had to buy them when they first came out.
Skungy, do you ever go to goodoldgames.com? Do you ever check that out?
Yes, I've checked it out multiple times because there's a lot of stuff, a lot of older PC games that are available through there that, you just can't find anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of good stuff. So are we getting close to a break, Dave?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
I know that there's no Overwatch League update this week,
Yeah, that's actually
Skungy.
what I was doing right now. They're looking at playoffs.
So playoffs and grand finals starts this Wednesday, July 11th. Philadelphia Fusion versus the Boston Uprising at 7 p.m. Central, followed by the London Spitfire and the Los Angeles Gladiators at 9 p.m. Skungy, what do you think? Who's going to come out on top?
I'm going to say, the Gladiators have been doing really good. I'm liking the Gladiators and the Fusion, honestly.
Okay.
I'm liking those. I could be wrong, but just like in real sports, I'm terrible at predicting winners,
So my niece came to visit recently, and she's working on some cosplay for an event coming up. We'll mention it in a bit. And I found out from her that there is a Overwatch Fantasy League that you can play. Do you follow what I'm saying? Like fantasy football?
Fantasy football?
Yes, you can play a fantasy version of the Overwatch League.
So what, I draft the team players?
Yeah. I've got to dig into it more, but maybe we should do that. Maybe we should get into that.
That's really good. That's a lot of fun. Fantasy sports is so popular right now, and it's to feel like you're a part of the sport when you're not, and just prove how terrible you really are at picking a team.
Nice.
That's the best part with any of the NFL fantasy football stuff. It's just like you get a roster, and then you're just like, all right, I'm good. You don't change it. You're like, even if your entire defense doesn't play for a week, you're like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. Did I win? No, but okay. I would basically do the same thing.
I didn't do anything.
I'd draft all the Shanghai Dragons and watch. I'd end up winning.
You probably would.
Probably would. That's what I'm doing. All right. Jeez. All right, Skungy, guess what?
I don't chicken butt?
Yeah, you're fired. Get out of here, dude.
Thank you, Skungy.
Don't thank him.
What?
Stop thanking him.
I appreciate the time that he puts into his segment every week.
Well,
he does a great job.
Crazy.
All right, well, guys, when we get back from these short commercial messages, we'll have our guest, Miss Naomi Novik, New York Times bestselling author of her new book, Spinning Silver, out on July 10th. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe is open at 8228 Oak Street, just 2 blocks off of Carrollton. D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe has your RPGs and TCGs and a wall full of board games to rent both in-store and to take home. It's not just a game shop. As the name D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe says, it's also a cafe serving real food at great prices. Po' boys, salads, wraps, soups, pastries, and more. So head out to 8228 Oak Street and have some fun. And when it's all over, they'll clean up after you and all your nasty friends.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktitans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Belle Chase Highway today.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now.
Inconceivable!
Follow The Week in Geek on Instagram at The Week in Geek Radio Show.
Ha ha, you fool! You fell victim to one of the classic blunders.
Here's David and Brian.
This is Brian Held with the Week in Geek Radio Show on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. And we're joined by New York Times best-selling author, Miss Naomi Novik. How are you?
Good to be here.
Oh, fantastic. So, the last time you were here with us was all the way back December 10th of 2015 when we were talking about your book, Uprooted.
Mm-hmm.
And, no, I mean, it's been a while, but it goes by quick. Now, one thing I noticed before we get to the new stuff is that Uprooted has a limited edition coming out, right?
Yes. This is really quite exciting. Sean Speakman, who some of your listeners may know, he does the Unfettered anthologies.
Okay.
And he happens to also be my webmaster. And I think it was like a year or so ago, he said, I would really love to just bring on an artist and do a full limited edition, beautiful hardcover illustrated version of Uprooted. And I said, sure, sounds great. And he went into it and he got Donato Giancola. So that is kind of like, it's sort of like the winning the World Series in terms of the artists, that you can get to work on a project. And it's just spectacular. He's been posting the art on Facebook and I mean, it's truly incredible. Well, so that's been really exciting.
Well, and what I've seen online is absolutely stunning. Now, when will that be available? When can folks get that?
Do you know, I don't actually know. I think it's pretty close.
Okay.
I think the cover art is done. I think Sean is actually working on the sort of the final layout design of the book and putting all the illustrations into the flow. I think that's literally happening as we speak. So not much longer.
Well, and I know that folks can pre-order it. I know it's out there. So,
yes.
All right. Well, good deal. Well, Uprooted is a good segue. Because if I'm not mistaken, Spinning Silver, which is your new book, is sort of based in the same world, drawing from like Polish fairy tales, right?
You know, I like to say that it's the next world over.
Okay.
Uprooted is sort of very much influenced by my mother's background and heritage. She's from Poland. She's a Polish Catholic whose family were sort of in their place for a really long time and very deeply rooted there. And she experienced leaving Poland as the process of being uprooted, which a lot of that kind of went into the book.
Okay.
Spinning Silver is really my father's side of the family. And they were Lithuanian Jews who sort of felt themselves besieged in their homeland. And their homeland itself also felt besieged. So it's a very different, it's sort of coming from a different place. And the stories I have from my father's side of the family, I had less fairy tales and more family stories.
Okay.
From them. So that's the two different places that the books are coming from, but they definitely they're both kind of taking place in the same fairy tale inspired space, I would say.
No, and that's fair. And I can definitely feel reading Spinning Silver. I can sort of feel that family oriented tales of things being told. But what I wanted to ask you is kind of right in the beginning, right in the opening, you bring up a fairy tale about a moneylender's daughter, or I'm not sorry, not a moneylender, a woman who goes to a moneylender to borrow money to buy jewels and a dress to impress the Lord, and of course doesn't work out. And the Lord leaves,
right.
and she, accuses the moneylender of being in league with demons, and he gets run off, and everybody praises the girl, and of course she's the heroine of that story, but the focus here is like, hey man, she stole that dude's money, and where is that come from? Is that an actual story?
So yeah, well that's Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh, okay.
That is yes. So the way Spinning Silver started was because I'd written Uprooted, I was invited to, I was asked to do a story for an anthology called The Starlit Wood, which was retellings of fairy tales. And every author got to pick a fairy tale from a long list, and I procrastinated until the list was quite short, as I am wont to do. And then Rumpelstiltskin was on the list. And looking at Rumpelstiltskin, I think Rumpelstiltskin is quite interesting in the ways in which it sort of doesn't actually follow some of the typical rules of fairy tale justice.
Okay.
The miller is the one who lies. He brags about his daughter being able to spin straw into gold, and yet he's not actually punished. The girl gets punished. The girl doesn't really do anything to save herself, except at the end when she guesses Rumpelstiltskin's name. And the story, obviously, it has a bunch of anti-Semitic tropes in it. The appearance of Rumpelstiltskin, the sense of usurious lending of gold. And I thought that it kind of struck a chord with that family experience I was describing.
Right.
And I sort of thought, that there was something happening that I could feel that I had a way to have a conversation with Rumpelstiltskin. And I thought, and this character, Miriam, started coming to me, and she, so that description at the start of the book is her interpretation of Rumpelstiltskin.
Right.
Right. So the story of Rumpelstiltskin, she sees it in this completely hostile way. She views the story as an attack on her, and that's kind of her mental, the way she says, this is the real story. This is what the story would be in the real world, as opposed to this cute little fairy tale of the miller's daughter who gets saved by this little imp. She sees that she identifies with the imp,
right?
As opposed to with the daughter, with the miller's daughter.
And you bring up something good. You brought up Miriam, and as I'm reading through this,
right? We really kind of have three protagonists, right? We have Miriam, who is the moneylender's daughter. We have Wanda, who is the poor farmer's daughter. And then we have Irina, who is the daughter of a duke. If you can kind of set the stage for these three characters for us.
Yeah, so as I said, originally was writing it as a short story.
Okay.
And the short story is entirely from Miriam's point of view. It's very much her story. But the thing that was interesting to me was, as I wrote it, Wanda appears in it as a secondary character and Irina appears in it as a secondary character. And Miriam kind of gets them wrong. She doesn't really completely see them as people in her own. She's focused, obviously, as we all are, right? We're all focused on our own lives in some sense.
Right.
And she doesn't quite make the jump in the short story to seeing them as whole people of their own. And I knew that I kind of wanted that. What I wanted in the novel was for each of them to tell their own stories, and for all three stories to kind of have to interlock and intertwine, and for that to almost be the way that all three of them saved themselves and each other, that they all had to kind of come together to make it through the events.
Well, now, and you wove it together beautifully. I just, I enjoyed so much reading this book. Great characterization, absolutely. And of course, that's going to be on bookstands July 10th, right?
That's right.
All right, cool. Let me ask real quick. We are kind of getting close to a commercial break. Where are you going to be? I know you're going to start, promoting this being out. Are you going to be anywhere down in the South anytime soon?
I'm going to be in Atlanta for DragonCon.
Oh, nice.
Which I'd love to go to. Yes, so I'm super excited to be down there. Sadly, I still got a small child, so I tend to keep my travel where I can get to and back in a day, or where I have family or friends so I can take her with me. So I'm doing, the New York, Boston, DC thing. I am going to San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay.
So I will be there for any fans who are making it out there. And other than that, it's going to be Atlanta for DragonCon.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, hey, look, DragonCon's only 8 hours away from us. One of my most favorite conventions to attend, and I would love to see you there, definitely. So how can folks keep up with you, find you out on social media, find out more about Spinning Silver?
I'm on Facebook, Naomi Novik. I'm on Twitter, also Naomi Novik. I have a website, naominovik.com. And usually I try to also check in on Goodreads a lot, because I love when people leave me questions there, because it's a way to answer questions that then stay there and people can read the answers when they come to the site. And so I'd love to hear from people about it.
The last thing, I know you've got projects, things that you're constantly working on. Any tidbits you can give us going out?
Well, actually, right now I'm working on a bunch of short stories, including one for another anthology from the same people who did the Starla Wood anthology.
Okay.
This one's about myths and sort of retellings of myths. And so it's a story about the labyrinth and the Minotaur, which is kind of fun.
Nice. I can't wait to hear or read it. Awesome.
Great.
Well, Naomi, thank you so much for taking the time today, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
All right, gang, stay tuned. Right after these short commercial messages, we'll close out the shows we always do with This Week in Geek History. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktieTans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe is open at 8228 Oak Street, just 2 blocks off of Carrollton. D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe has your RPGs and TCGs and a wall full of board games to rent both in-store and to take home. It's not just a game shop. As the name D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe says, it's also a cafe serving real food at great prices. Po' boys, salads, wraps, soups, pastries, and more. So head out to 8228 Oak Street and have some fun. And when it's all over, they'll clean up after you and all your nasty friends.
Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Bell Chase Highway today.
Mata Hari, Agent H21, is a spy fiction short story anthology about the famous dancer, seductress, and spy from World War I. Mata Hari, Agent H21, published by Pro Se Productions, has 7 rip-roaring adventure tales about the world-famous super spy that features her battling her enemies by using any weapons at her disposal. Mata Hari, Agent H21 is available for purchase in ebook and paperback formats on Amazon.com.
Yeah, this is Sam J. Jones / Gordon, and you are listening to The Week in Geek. You better be listening. I will hunt you down, and I will find you.
I will take you down to Chinatown.
You better listen to Flash Gordon, man.
This is The Week in Geek. I'm D Squared along with
Brian Held.
Now, as always, we want to strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
Well, if you missed any part of tonight's show or you want to catch your favorite part again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, the iHeartRadio app, and at WRNO.com.
Yes, all those things and more.
Absolutely.
We didn't talk about the Westworld app deal.
Did
you ever watch Westworld, though?
Real quick, before we get into that, I just wanted to give a shout-out to all of our new Facebook fans. We just crested 4,500 likes.
We just crested it?
Yes, we went straight over it.
Crested it?
Yes.
Wow. That's a great adjective.
You like that?
Wow.
Okay, well, I try. But so welcome to the insanity. We're here all the time. So.
Did you ever watch Westworld? Did you get a chance to see any of it?
Oh, no. I honestly, I did not get a chance to see it.
Well, it's funny, though, because it's a great series. I like it. And I think the problem is that it's involved and it's convoluted a bit. And they kind of made it a little bit harder to follow the second season because they jumped from time to time. You weren't, like, even the main character wasn't sure where he was. He would actually say, "Is this now?" Like, he would ask somebody, "Is this now?" And
I think, hold on. I think that I was talking to somebody about Westworld, and they said that there's a whole nother layer to the deal where the subtitles, there's stuff hidden in the subtitles. If you watch it in that fashion, there's all kind of like secondary sort of social media stuff that plays into it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things that play into it. And at first you thought it was just, the AI is becoming conscious in essence, but it's so much more than that. Like they always, like the guy who created the park, in essence, always knew they would become this, and like from its inception was planning on how to get them and let them escape. It's like it turned them into sympathetic characters. I mean, it's something that you can't watch as a casual fan. And I hate to say it because I'm not like some kind of snob and I'm not the smartest peanut in the turd, but you have to be fairly smart to understand this series.
Okay.
If you're just watching going, "Oh yeah, great," there's boobs like I normally do, it's really complicated. It's hard. So I think it just didn't hit. It doesn't have that mass appeal. It's not easily understood. You can't jump in and be like, oh, okay, I understand what's going on. Like Game of Thrones, it's like, okay, kill, maim, destroy, dragons, boom, hooray.
All right.
But this is a lot deeper. So
well, and that's cool. I mean, it sounds like The Prisoner, if you remember that one.
Yeah, I remember telling about that.
But there is a game that you can play. It's called Westworld: The Maze. It's on Amazon Echo. Now, normally you have to play it through the Echo, but there is an app out from Amazon that you can download for iOS and Android that will allow you to play.
It's like a choose-your-own-adventure deal?
Yeah. It's basically there's dialogue, and then you respond to it, and then it'll, sort of you're making these decisions to lead down a path. And I think it's a couple of hours of gameplay.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's probably free. There's 3 levels to reach the maze. Ooh. Yes.
Yeah, that was another convoluted portion of it. All right, let's do it.
Okay.
This week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future! Yes! Oh my God!
This Week in Geek History is brought to you by Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, read by Brian Held. Available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. This Week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
Da-na-na, da-na-na. Wow.
All right.
Wow, wow, wow.
First one out of the gate, you have to guess. July 2nd, 1997.
To be fair, I was drunk most of 1997.
Okay,
just putting it out there.
All right, that's fair. This movie, starring Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith.
Oh, Men in Black.
Vincent D'Onofrio, Linda, I can't pronounce her last name, and Rip Torn. Yes, Men in Black. Wow. Yeah, I can get them all out.
I know.
Okay.
So you said Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith.
All right.
That's a given right there, man.
That's fair. Love that movie. And, of course, we're getting a new one, right? We're getting
with Thor and the Valkyrie.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth.
And Tessa Thompson?
Yes, I believe so.
Wow.
There you go.
Look at that. I knew something.
Dude, you been taking your vitamins or something?
No.
All right. July 3rd, 1998.
No, play.
Japan launches the Nozomi probe to Mars. It is the first planetary mission by a country other than the U.S. or the Soviet Union and Russia.
Wow. So they finally crested the space plateau?
They did.
All right.
Indeed.
Good on them. Good on them. And I still thank them for Transformers. Thanks, guys.
Oh, yeah, no. A lot of great stuff comes out of Japan. In fact, Jovan Montanique, he's a very good friend of mine. He lives in Austin now. He's a teacher, but he's got a secondary business planning trips to Japan, and he was just in town recently. He and his wife have family still here, so they were in town, and we went to go hang out as friends, but then there was sort of a pitch session about, hey, we're planning our next trip to Japan in 2020 if you'd like to go.
Come have this free lunch and hear about timeshares, too.
Pretty much. But it's cool, they had a lot of great, they actually had physical photos in an album that we were looking through.
Who does that?
I know, it's kind of crazy.
People, that's who.
But my wife was terribly excited about the prospects of riding on the Hello Kitty bullet train.
Oh, God have mercy.
Yeah. It's good stuff. All right, next item on the list is July 4th, 1054. A supernova is observed by the Chinese and the Arabs. Rock paintings were later discovered in North America that suggest the Indians in Arizona and New Mexico also saw it. It remained bright enough to be seen during the day for 23 days long and at night for almost 2 years.
What?
And scientists speculate that the Crab Nebula in the constellation Taurus is the remnant of that supernova.
What?
How cool is that?
Okay.
And it exploded.
It did indeed explode.
Wow. That's cool. I didn't know that. I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah. So, you see, I've always got new stuff
look
in
at
here
that.
for you,
I
Dave.
learned something.
Yeah. All right, July 5th, 1996. Sees the birth of the very first cloned mammal, Dolly the sheep. Yeah, in Scotland. So,
yeah, I mean, have we cloned anything else?
Well,
did we just stop going down that road?
There's all kind of stuff being cloned, but I don't know if it's actual, full-fledged organisms.
All right. We need body parts, but now we can 3D print body parts now, so we don't have to clone people. We just skip that whole cloning process. All those science fiction novels get thrown out because we had to go and skip a damn step and go straight to 3D printing.
I need to check and see. They had that whole the spray on skin for burn victims. That was absolutely incredible, where they take your cells, turn them into stem cells, so it's your cells, and then there's a gun that will spray it on. All right, let's see.
Not much time.
All right, on July 7th, 2009. Sees the premiere of Warehouse 13 on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Hey, Eddie McClintock!
Yes.
Woo! I need to hit him up.
It was also the same day that Sci-Fi changed their name to Syfy.
Ah, that was a horrible day.
Yes. All right.
We only got 20 seconds. No time for birthdays.
No time for birthdays, sorry.
All right, so do we have any idea who was next?
We're trying to get Kevin Hearn booked. I'm trying to finish that. We will be at MechaCon in 2 weeks. Check out mechacon.org, I believe.
All right, till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
New home for Walton and Johnson. News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM, New Orleans, an iHeart radio station.